I
But
know.
on to a happier note. The Game of Thrones season 5 trailer came out this week, and we are both pretty big Game of Thrones fans, I believe.
Indeed. Oh yes, I. You go first. You first.
No, I'm just like, where do I even begin with Game of Thrones? I saw the first season after my cousin recommended it to me. He was like, "You got to watch this show. You're gonna love it." And I was like, "I don't know. I was all into Breaking Bad. I still am into Breaking Bad. We're all into Breaking Bad."
It was like it was the same for me. Like I had my kind of my set list of shows that I was into, and one of my best friends was a Game of Thrones addict and or Game of Thrones addict, and I was a little off put by it. I was like, what is this, like Lord of the Rings the show? Like I didn't understand the appeal of it for a long time, and now I get it. I do.
Oh yeah. And it's so funny that you mentioned that because I have a couple friends who are like, "Lord of the Rings is so boring," and I'm like, "No, you're just boring." But
Yeah.
even they came around on the show. They were like, "Wow, this Game of Thrones is amazing!" Like they get all hyped up about it, like I do.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I watched the first season in 2 days,
Oh.
and I was just blown away. And I needed to know what was going to happen next. I couldn't wait a year. I saw it like a month after the season finale had happened, like June or
Oh.
July of 2011. And ever since then, I devoured all the books. I've devoured every
Wow.
season that's come out. I've never missed an episode. I am like a die-hard Game of Thrones fan.
I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I am not too hot on the fourth and fifth book. I think they're sort of dull.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've heard that before too. I forgot. Have you read them? I forgot if
You know,
I asked you
I
that.
I haven't read the books, but I know a lot about them because my brother and I have had very extensive discussions about differences between the show and books. And what he said is that with some of the later books, they're split in half. So you get half the characters' perspectives in one book and then like half in another kind of thing. And so it's like I imagine this, maybe this is true, maybe not, that if your favorite characters aren't in one book, you're kind of slogging through, like waiting for what you really want to get to.
It's
So,
that's a big part of it, but I also feel like he just doesn't know how to get to his end game. Like
yeah.
there's a lot of moving pieces still, but then the pace is so sluggish that I got
Hmm.
concerned. Specifically for the last season, I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh God!" Like I really hope they tighten some stuff up because
Hmm.
they were going to implement books 4 and 5 into pieces for season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I thought they actually improved stuff. There's like one instance, I guess spoilers for last year and for Game of
Mhm.
Thrones in general. We're going to be talking about it.
Right.
Not books, no book spoilers. Don't worry. Where Jamie forces himself onto Cersei and rapes her.
Yeah. That
That
was, ooh,
yeah,
big controversy there.
I wasn't a fan of that. I thought that was very poorly handled on the show's part. Everything else, I can say that I wholeheartedly agree with the direction they've taken.
Yeah.
A few characters have died who didn't die in the books.
Hmm.
There's a big instance in book 4 where they mention someone who died, and I was like, "What? I haven't even seen that character like since the third book. What happened?" And then in the fifth book, you find out that's not the case, and I was like, "Oh, thank God! That would
Oh,
have been so
wow.
disappointing."
That's
So
crazy.
it was easy for me because I read them all back to back, but someone
Yeah.
else would have waited 5 years to find that out. I would have been frustrated.
Yeah.
Um,
No joke.
all right, so let's dive into the trailer. Favorite moments from the trailer and what you're looking forward to.
Well, I loved the whole monologue with the Khaleesi and sort of how that overlaid and brought everything together. She's talking about all the different kingdoms and comparing the whole power struggle to this wheel. And in this very iconic quote, she says that she is going to break the wheel. And I do not doubt that she has the power to do so if she wants to, because Mama's got some dragons.
I
The question
know.
is, can she train her dragons? But I based on the power that she has had in all the nations and cities that she's liberated, like it'll be fascinating to see what her role is going to be, because at some points she sort of gets relegated to the side because she's so far away. Even just geographically, she's very distant from these struggles, but that gives her such an interesting perspective, because she's sort of, with what she's talking about, we see everyone's struggles and all this fighting and tension in the trailer, and how she's sort of talking over it like, yeah, all this is just going on and on. One's on top, the other's crushed. They get crushed, the other's on top. No, we're not doing that anymore. And I definitely got a chill from that, because she is the kind of woman who has the power to make that happen, to arguably unmake this system that's just been spinning and spinning out of control for centuries, for however long. But so I just like the general theme of it all. Specific moments, it's hard to break down. I had to watch it so many times to try and catch everything. But yeah.
Yeah, that speech is pretty epic. I feel like she gets a good speech every season so far.
Oh yeah.
And that's great. She's probably like my 4 or 5 top favorite characters. My number 1 has been Sansa for the longest time now. I guess for me, favorite moment would be Tyrion looking up and seeing the dragon from that ship.
Yeah, see, it's all coming together.
Yeah, I love the politics behind this series, how it's kind of relevant to how real politics is, where people like squabbling over like the most meaningless things, basically. Like, yep. Oh, we're going to fight over this land here and fight over that there. But then it's like, wait, the White Walkers up north. No, I'm going to fight over here. Wait, there's dragons. Oh, no, I'm going to fight over here. Like, it's just a kind of silly thing I noticed. Yeah, that shot, that's the one that the trailer got me super pumped. But that's the one that was like, I felt the scale of Game of Thrones again. I'm like, whoa, there it is. Because it feels like watching a movie a lot of times. Like, it's a very cinematic program. I mean, HBO's tagline is that it's not TV, and I think a lot of the shows still look like TV, but that Game of Thrones, whew.
Yep, they have put the money in, and in fact, I know that they did. They actually showed one of the episodes in IMAX theaters. Did you hear about that?
I didn't get to go to it. It was the last 2 episodes of season 4, The Battle of the Wall and The Children. Okay. And I didn't see them because I got super busy in January or February, whenever it was.
Yeah, time-wise.
I hated myself. I still hate myself for that.
It'll happen again. It's bound to happen. They've done it once, and considering the fact that things are only going to get more epic from here, we'll have those cinema level experiences. They'll make it happen. I know they will.
Gosh, I hope so. All right, as a non-reader of the books, what do you foresee happening, or what do you hope happens this season?
That's a great question. As far as what I hope to see, I really, and I mean, this is something I've wanted for a while, but to see, oh my gosh. I'm like trying to picture all the characters at once and just like pick different people. I want the sister Starks to see each other again. I think that would be awesome. And also, I don't remember if this was actually in the trailer, but there was like these, entertainment magazine covers where they showed Arya in like this dress and with her hair all pinned back. And so I don't know where she's gonna be at, but clearly wasn't she going to Braavos at the end? Yeah.
It's not a spoiler to say that she ends up in Braavos, so
yeah. That's because, she got on the boat, and that's kind of what we all figured. But so it'll be interesting to see her kind of out of her sort of wildling almost garb, as it got to be after all that wandering with the hounds and everything. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm up for whatever. It's been so long, and I've actually been playing the Telltale Game of Thrones game as well. So I kind of got that in my noggin too, because they basically brought in another it's about House Forrester, and so they brought in new characters that interact with the main characters as well. So now I have like even more things that I'm trying to keep track of from that. But
oh god,
they did a really good job with that game. So if ever you happen across the time, which none of us really have, that is a great game. So
I do intend to play it, and you guys, they can check out your reviews on your channel, correct?
Yes, sir. You can.
All right. How many episodes are out?
What's that?
How many episodes are out for the show or for the game?
Oh, for the Game of Thrones. I think they've done 2, and the third one is in process. I know that Telltale's releasing their next Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands episode next week. So I would assume that probably the next episode for the Game of Thrones game would be out in like a month or so. I'm not sure, but yeah, I do actually have a review of, I think, both of those episodes on my channel. So
all right, everyone, make sure to check that out. Final thoughts on Game of Thrones trailer. It does look like they're straying more away from the books. I'm seeing characters where they were not supposed to be in certain locations, but then that just makes me more excited. Also, right. I don't want them to just stick verbatim to the books if they don't have to.
For sure.
Also, budgetary reasons, I'm sure, are going to be crazy. I'm pretty sure books 4 and 5 are just being compressed into this one season, or at least the majority of them. And I think that is the best decision because, like I said earlier, those are kind of a slog to get through. It's a grind. It's work. The first 3 are pretty much page turners. The last 2, maybe not so much. All right. Anything else you want to know about Game of Thrones?
I say bring it. I'm ready. I want it.
I like that. We need to figure out like house words, for like ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our homework.
Okay,
we're gonna figure out house words. All right, I guess that's gonna be a wrap for us here at the Waffle Press Hangouts. My name's Diego Crespo.
And I'm M. Mighty Sophia.
And we have been Professionally Unprofessional. Thanks for listening, guys.